Hi everyone, Joe MVR here, and today we have a very special episode 15 of the GRF podcast. I'm joined as usual by Fokuz and Shinyo, Dennis and Stein, and also we have two guests on the show, Borissito and Capn Scrub. And so let's just start with saying hello everyone, and how are you guys doing?
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi there.
Nice to be here.
Excellent. So, yes, we have 5 people around our mics in 5 different countries, but only 3 or 4 time zones. And we're just going to basically get into it. Let's start with Borissito. Boris, you are our latest general GRF admin person, so congratulations on the post, well deserved. Would you like to say a little bit about yourself and what your main tasks in GRF have been? You know, anything that you want to tell us about your background and stuff that you're willing to share. It would be lovely to hear about it.
Yeah, okay. My name is Boris. I come from Slovakia in Europe, and lately I got into the sim racing a bit, and so I joined the GRF. Now I earned the privilege of being an admin, but basically for now doing only some onboarding stuff and similar. And apart from that, my background was a game development, and now I'm more of a general programmer. But there are some games with my names in credits, so.
Oh yes, very cool. Very cool. Well, great to have you on board. It was a very easy decision for the other admins to approve you being one of us. So, and yeah, thank you for all that you've been doing. And Capn Scrub, or Scrub as I'm going to call him, tell us a little bit about yourself, mate, and you know, what's shaking, what's going on?
So I'm Capn Scrub. Capn is because I look a little bit like a pirate, and because of my West Country accent, sometimes I sound a little bit like a pirate as well. And I used to be into downhill mountain biking, and I did that for quite a long time in my life, I guess, since I was in my teen years. A couple of years ago, I had quite a big accident. Sort of did quite a bit of damage to myself, and just realised that I was a little bit old to be throwing myself off of jumps and things like that. So I really got back into sim racing. I'd sort of toyed with it a little bit over the years, but then I was needing a new hobby, so I just sort of got a bit stuck into it really. And Dirt Rally was my go-to game, because I sort of played it on controller for quite a long time and bits and pieces. So yeah, just got into it through that really.
Oh, okay. And so just so that everyone is clear, when you say you're from the West Country, which country are we talking about if it's not so obvious? Which it is.
The southwest of England. Yeah, southwest of England.
Right, fantastic. And so when you say you did a lot of damage to yourself in this accident, it sounds horrific. Are you okay now? What actually happened, if you don't mind sharing?
Just went over the handlebars on sort of a fairly big jump, and it was just after COVID, so I was a little bit heavier than I was, putting it politely.
Yeah.
Than before, and sort of hit face first into some compacted chalk, and I broke 6 of my ribs.
Whoa.
Did some damage to my shoulder, and had sort of like a dislocation of my collarbone, which it's got a funny name, which I can't remember
Clavicle.
the actual injury. I was unconscious for a little bit, and did some damage to my sort of all my abdominal wall and all that sort of stuff. So I've had some issues from it, which have sort of made me sort of reevaluate whether I want to be risking myself. I got married a few years ago, so it was, and so it's sort of like more responsibilities in my life that sort of trumped the enjoyment of getting some airtime, I guess.
Yeah. Wow, that
So, yeah,
sounds that sounds pretty bad. I mean, those broken ribs are very, very painful for every single breath, even I imagine. And so, are you doing all right now? Does it affect sim rally driving at all? Any of the injuries, were they lasting?
no, I was quite fortunate. My ribs healed up really fast.
Oh, good.
I was back at work in 5 weeks, which is pretty good going. And the only sort of issue I had my abdominal wall was probably the one that caused me the most problems. Because obviously you use it all the time.
Yep.
It's part of your digestion, things like that. So that caused a few issues. And the shoulder just looks a little bit. My collarbone sticks up out of my shoulder now, so it just looks a little bit weird.
Jeez.
But if it doesn't cause you problems, they don't operate on it, and it's absolutely fine.
Right.
Feels all right. It just looks a little bit weird.
Well, it's a perfect perch for a parrot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So maybe that's something I could look into further down the line.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
sounds like a bad crash. How fast were you going before the impact?
I think the jump that I did it on, you hit it at about 30 to 35 miles an hour.
wow.
And it's about, I can't remember what the gap was. It was something, I think it was 35 or 40 foot. The jump was. So
Wow.
it was just a bit frustrating. I'd done it. It's a jump that I was really comfortable with doing, and I just made one small mistake, and it just sort of reality caught up to me pretty quickly, you know.
So that's what, about 50 kilometers?
Name of the game.
Yeah, about 50 kilometers an hour in a 12-meter gap there. Did you see the words terminal damage in front of your eyes when you landed?
No, what's funny is I've lost. I can't remember the actual crash, but I do remember taking off out of the jump, and my last thought that I can actually remember was just the thought of oh no, and then after that I've just got there's nothing until I sort of came round a couple of minutes later.
Wow.
Just feeling a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah, I mean, just
I'm glad I don't even have a bike.
you're
Don't get me
recounting.
wrong.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's I've been mountain biking for probably 15, 16 years. So, and in that time, the last time I broke my collarbone when I was 15 years old. So to go for another decade and a half without any real injuries, I got away fairly, it's not too bad.
You had a lot of time to enjoy your hobby.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Went to Canada doing it and stuff like that. It was good
cool.
times.
Yeah.
Now I just sit in front of a computer for my enjoyment. So,
Yeah.
It's not so good for the belly, but better for the rest of my body.
Right, and just hearing about the accident, it's kind of giving me chills there. But and I'm sorry, we didn't really plan to focus on your injuries so much. So thank you for sharing that experience with us. So how did you when you said you got into Dirt Rally? Was it like Dirt Rally 1 or Dirt Rally 2 that you started off with?
So originally, I started I've always liked rally. I had Colin McRae on the PlayStation 1, games like that, and sort of bought the Dirt franchise. I think Dirt 3 was the only game that I've ever got every achievement on when I was playing it on the Xbox.
Oh, cool.
So then got Dirt Rally, which I found really challenging because obviously it's a bit more intense than the arcade games.
Yeah.
And then got Dirt Rally 2. And then when I was looking for something to take my time up, I I used to have a what was it, a GT Logitech GT,
Yeah, the
I
racing
think it
wheel.
was
Yeah.
an old, just the wheelbase, and it had a sequential shifter as part of the wheelbase, which got broken years ago. But then I sort of remembered how much I enjoyed playing on a wheel, so I looked into getting another setup and ended up with a Thrustmaster T300 for a couple of years, and then recently upgraded to a Moser R9 direct drive, which I'm really enjoying, and I'm sure Boris can say how exciting it is getting a direct drive wheel. It's been pretty fun.
Yeah, Boris,
Yeah.
I heard you have some new kit. Can you tell us about it?
Is that to Boris?
Yeah, that was to Boris. I heard that you have a direct drive wheel. What setup do you have?
Yeah. So very, very recently, I got my CSLDD with VRC rim and Elite V2 pedals. So I'm just getting used to it. But actually, it's what is a big difference for me, apart from direct drive, is also the real analog handbrake, because I didn't have it before. I had only some very do-it-yourself rubber banded Logitech shifter as
Right.
a handbrake, which was digital, of course. So this is a complete game changer, I would say, at least in Dirt Rally 2. Apparently, in VRC generations, it's a bit too fast to engage the handbrake, so it's not that much fun
Okay.
yet. But the
It's too direct.
Sorry, Dennis, what did you
Do you,
say?
do you still play a lot of WRC generations, Boris, or?
I was, but now I'm struggling because I cannot find the good settings. I was so used to G920 there, and with direct drive, it's a completely different game for me. So we'll see.
Okay.
It will take some time, I guess.
Boris, what coming from a G920 now and now on a Fanatec, what seat or rig do you have?
Yeah, unfortunately for now, because of the limited space, I'm only on a foldable rig, so
Does
not
that
perfect
work
for
with the
DD,
direct?
but it holds on so far.
Okay.
Or we
Okay.
place it challenge or something, or?
Yeah, place the challenge a bit more,
Yeah.
but
Don't know if I ever
actually-
mentioned, but it snipped my bottom legs. I almost feel like Capn Scrub talking about this, but my injury with my motor sport injury was related to Dirt Rally 2. I just bought a new Fanatec. It was too heavy for the seat, and I don't know if you know the Place Challenge. It scissored on my legs. I just got my legs crushed beneath the Fanatec. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, what?
Let's talk
horror
about
story.
injuries. Let's talk about injuries.
So what? May I ask, Greg, as someone who's still using my very old G27, what's the main difference when you go to a direct drive wheel? Anyone?
It can be heavier, and it's definitely snappier, like more responsive. So you feel more information.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
of course, it doesn't make you faster out of the box or something like that. Definitely.
Yeah, but I would imagine that having the extra feedback just makes you more aware, and therefore you might improve as a driver because you've got more information to base your decisions on.
Yeah. So far, in like 3-4 days, I'm using it, so it's still fresh. I definitely have more info when starting to lose the control of the car, so it's easier to get back to save, basically.
Right. And would you agree with that, Adam?
Yeah, I found the rear-wheel drive cars a whole lot easier to drive with the direct drive, because as Boris said, you feel the car going. If you're losing your grip, you get the feedback from that through with so much more detail it makes a difference with particularly with rear wheel drive. I found.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any other mods going there, Captain Scrub or Borissito? Let's see, I still have the belt-driven CSL Elite, but I have the Sim 3D, Sim Cube thingies attached to my pedals, and especially for RVD, I think they're pretty fantastic to feel when the car comes loose or when when the wheels start losing grip. Anything else going, or just the dive draft?
I literally bought. My wife ordered me those Sim 3D rumblers 3 days ago. Yeah, I'm really excited.
Fantastic. It takes like months to get them delivered, but maybe in the UK it'll be better. But it took them a few months to get them delivered out here.
Yeah.
I have them on the pedals and also on the seat, but the ones on the seat I don't dare to turn up too much because my gaming man cave is in the attic just above the kids' rooms, so I don't want to rumble them out of bed.
I built my own handbrake a little while ago. It's not an analog one. That's something I'd like to get, like you were saying, Boris. It's just like a simple switch. But just the feeling of having something sturdy to pull at does make it feel a little bit more immersive, I guess.
Like that Logitech shifter was good. It was okay. I got used to it. It's much better than the button on the wheel. But this is better. Yeah, analog is definitely better.
You came from the Logic GT, right, Captain Scrub? Because I had that one as well, and I used the shifter as a handbrake, actually.
Do you know what? I never thought of doing that. I had it. It was years ago that I had it. Well, in the end, the shifter. The reason I stopped using it was because it was the shifter that broke. I had some young cousins over that played on it, and they just sort of went a bit crazy with it. And
I can't recall now, but the GT had paddles as well, no? Or yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it might have.
Now I'm confused. I definitely remembered using the shifter as a handbrake.
Right. So then you're either in automatic.
I never used the sequential shifter, so.
Right. So you either.
No, the one I had didn't.
Yeah.
Oh wait. I can't really tell from the pictures.
Wait, let me look it up as well.
It's called the Driving Force GT.
Yeah, I had the same one, but I think it has paddles, right?
Oh, I think you can modify it to have paddles from what I can was shown up in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still using a button on the shifter of the G27 because the G27 has, I think, 4 red buttons, and I use one of those. So at least I have to take my hand off the wheel and reach to the side. But I do have a handbrake, which I just haven't found a good place to mount, and I've never used it. So I haven't. I'm kind of afraid of trying this new thing.
Yeah,
but
we know that.
I used to have it bound to a button as well, but the button was next to looking backwards. So when I took a hairpin and I suddenly found myself looking through my rear view window, I was like, shit, missed it.
Oh yeah, especially with VR, right? When you're not even. Yeah.
Like, there's the engine.
It is like Boris said, a handbrake is such a game changer. I also my first wheel was a G920 with the handbrake on a button, and I remember I hardly ever used the handbrake. And nowadays, I mean, I use the handbrake way too much just because it's so immersive and so much fun.
Right.
I think it really in rally games it really makes a difference.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You won't be that much faster by overusing it, but it's just huge fun.
Yeah, and that's what we're here for.
I think like Knife Ninja mentioned a few times that every corner below a tree he uses the handbrake. So maybe we should get him on and talk handbrakes.
Yeah, and he's getting really fast.
Yeah, he's super fast.
Yeah, I used to be. Sorry, go ahead.
He's still on a controller, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
crazy.
in
That's
chase
really
cam
crazy.
view
Oh.
on top of that, so he doesn't. There's people like SAB Cygnus, one of our admins, who uses VR with a controller, but Knife Ninja is on chase cam. So we were both recruited by, or attempted to be recruited by, a Swedish organizer who races in GRF sometimes, and Expert Historic as well for a championship. And I think Knife Ninja was on board until they found out that it's cockpit view only. And I already knew that no matter what happens, he cannot drive cockpit view, and he won't even try. So that had to come to an end. So
It's kind of cool if you think that he's so fast with the chase cam and the controller. I mean, that's like real old school gaming. That's how I play like Forza Horizon and stuff.
oh yeah,
Needs for speed, yeah, but not realistic.
Uh,
yeah, exactly. Realism is another thing. I like the realism, so I have the graphics turned up, and I have obviously I'm using a cockpit view inside for VR and all of that, but I use paddle shifters now, right? Because it's faster. So there's a limit to what everyone considers is good realism. And then we have the people like NBates66, who's using the H pattern and clutch for the cars that are H pattern and clutch, and tries to keep it even more realistic than that. And then we take it to the next level where we have Mexico, who actually homemade replica wheels and shifters and stuff.
He builds the tracks at home.
Yeah, exactly. He builds the stuff to match the kind of cars that he's driving. So they're very much like a Subaru cockpit or whatever. So yeah, there are different levels of realism that we do, but one of the things that really throws me off is when people have low ground cover and they don't, there's barely any grass on the sides, and you can see every rock and so on. When I see footage of that, it looks like a completely different game.
Yeah, for me it's immersion breaking, definitely. But I'm on console, I cannot turn it off anyway, so.
I think
Right.
Fishnex posted a guide somewhere not too long ago about VR optimization for the HP reverb. Really need to look into that, because I'm one of the people that has no ground cover, everything on low, just because I want
Frames.
It's immersion wise, it's okay, but turning it up, and as soon as one raindrop falls, it starts shaking, and I'd rather have a seamless experience with less immersion than.
Yeah, absolutely. That Wookiee's in the same boat. I mean. Yeah, Typecast Wookiee's in the same boat. He runs with ground cover off just because he has to.
Yeah, but the same. I don't necessarily want to see the rocks, but
yeah.
I didn't even know that it was a huge benefit to have ground cover off to see the rocks. For me, it's just a necessity to have a seamless VR experience, to be honest.
Right, because in the Dirty Discord, where people doing the Dirty Weeklies, right, you sometimes see people taking massive cuts in areas that looked really dangerous because they have the ground cover off, and so they can see where they can make a cut because it's legal in that club. There's something I wanted to ask Captain Scrub about. I think we brought it up before we actually did, before we started broadcasting, was this not uncommon link that people go from like extreme sports like mountain biking, skateboarding, and stuff like that into the rally and rallycross world.
Yeah, I found it quite interesting with downhill mountain biking particularly. If you're doing it competitively, you need to understand line choice. You need to take into consideration, you need to have really quick reactions and things like that. Being able to find grip, those sorts of things, and the crossover into rally or virtual rally anyway was it had far more similarities than I would have ever have expected. And then I think around the same time that I was getting into doing a bit of sim racing, I saw that Brandon Semenuk he'd started competing in the ARA,
Yep.
or not started, but he was doing really well in the ARA, and it was just quite interesting. I don't think many people know how big of a player he was in the mountain biking scene. Like Brandon Semenuk is unbelievable. If you watch, if you don't really know anything about him, it's definitely worth going and watching some videos on YouTube. He is at the top level of mountain biking, and he sort of seems to be very comfortable competing at the top. And then he crossed over into rally, and then just seemed to seamlessly start competing at the top level of rally in the and winning it was last season, wasn't it? He won the.
That was last season. Was him against
ARA.
Ken Block?
Yeah. So it's just I just found it really interesting how similar, while the sports are different in a lot of ways, they seem to be really similar in a lot of ways as well, which was
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
quite interesting, really. And then you were saying, Joe, about Bucky Lasek is into rally as well, which I had no idea about. I just remember him from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Right. Yeah, I didn't know, a lot of these people's backgrounds, that they were skateboarders or mountain bikers and so on. But yeah, Bucky Lasek was he was doing quite well in rallycross a few years ago. He joined Team Subaru, and he still does some kind of promos for Subaru every now and again. But yeah, he did pretty well for a couple of seasons in rallycross, and he did stage rally as well, always very popular there as well. And then even even Ken Block, right? What did he start off doing originally?
Wasn't he skateboarding?
Yeah, I thought he was a skateboarder as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think the next WRC champion is going to be Tony Hawk, probably, something like that. Brandon Semenuk, this tall Canadian guy, he kind of dominated in Canadian rallying, and then he joined ARA, I think, about 3 years ago. And at first he was Travis Pastrana's teammate, and he immediately started doing super well. And Travis, if you watch the Launch Control series, you'll get all the background on it. Travis is always trying to balance between wanting to be a mentor and wanting to win, so you can see that and he's always the perfect gentleman in all the videos in Launch Control, which is some.
By the way,
Yes.
Travis Pastrana he used to be a motocross biker, I think.
Yeah, he does all sorts of extreme sports. Yeah, basically anything goes. I think Scrub, Captain Scrub, you're right. It's the eye-body coordination. When we do rally, we're using all four limbs, right? Unless you've got it completely on automatic, right? And you need to respond, properly. And in the real world, of course, your life is at stake, and even a co-drivers as well. So I can understand why the similarities are there, especially as you said, looking for grip and all of that too. So I think in the ARA, Brandon is doing really well, mostly because there's not much. Not mostly, but in part because there isn't much competition at the moment for him. There was.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just going to say I'd love to see him in WRC2 or something to see how he competes against those guys, going against the European and the rest of the world.
Yeah, or
really
junior, or the junior WRC like John Armstrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, well, Boris, do you have any real-world motorsport or fast action sport experience or anything like that?
Not really, but I did some mountain biking, but not the extreme part.
Okay.
More like cross country and stuff like this.
Yeah. I used to love cycling a lot as well. I had a pretty nasty crash myself, just on the street actually, in 2016. fractured my wrist in a couple of places, and I still have quite a lot of abdominal scarring from it as well. And since then, I'm always nervous about my first ride of the year. And now my bike is on a stationary mount, and I haven't used that nearly enough in the last year. So, yeah. So
I definitely prefer foot trails to the city. So yeah, it's nicer and
The woods are a lot softer, aren't they? If you fall off in the woods, you've got a bit more cushion than tarmac.
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
hit a tree, basically.
Yeah, I once actually, one of the first dates that I went on with my now wife, we got a tandem mountain bike, and we were doing this long tarmac trail in Quebec, and we had an accident, and I just remember her flying over the top of me. I went over the handlebars, and she went over even higher, like she was a good 1.5 meters, 2 meters in the air. And yeah, that was quite a tense trip after that.
You guys, you all should just stop biking. It sounds really, everybody's having crashes, and it sounds really bad. Take the car; it's safer.
Yeah. So, I think we should probably move on to maybe covering a little bit of the clubs in GRF and how we're doing there. Dennis, do you want to tell us a little bit about the regular club? What's going on?
I'll keep it short. We're currently in the GRF Summer League 2.0, as we called it, with 2 rallies in the books, which were Australia in the 2000cc cars and Sweden in the Group A cars.
Yep.
And the podiums of both these rallies look very different. For Australia, it was SRE Tristan. We haven't seen him in a while, but he used to do our events quite regular. On first, second, N-Bait 66, third, GS.
Yep.
And in Sweden, the first 3 places go to Swedish guys. VP, Dennis Hernehult, and third was PV 544 1965.
Right.
So I think it's really cool that 3 Swedish guys are on the podium in Sweden. And currently running is Germany in H2 cars, so a little bit of rear wheel drive fun. And I checked the results today at like 12 o'clock, and currently leading is Rodies. Never seen the guy before.
Okay.
Second is TNG TMAB 87.
Right.
And third is Hiller Strumpa.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it for the.
I thank you for combining Germany with rear-wheel drive, because if it was R5 or a front-wheel drive, I would be really upset, or really not enjoy it as much. So, yeah, that's pretty cool.
You know, I actually thought in which location I wouldn't suck that much in a rear-wheel drive car, so I came up with Germany.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. Yeah, the fact that the podiums are very different has actually helped me, because I think I came 5th or 6th in each of these events, and I think I'm in 2nd place now overall, because the podium has been so inconsistent.
I've quite a feeling that with the Summer League 2.0, I saw a lot of names participating which I didn't see before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because we're on the Dirt Rally Today website or whatever it is, you know, our competitions that people are opportunistically just joining. Oh, I like Argentina, I'll do it. You know, or I like Sweden, I'll do it. And so yeah, that's good. And people who are not right at the top but consistent, like I am, you know, can end up doing well in these scenarios. So yeah, good. And Shinyo, you and I maybe want to say a few words about the special events that you robbed me of.
Well, what can I say? It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we just finished the Southern Hemisphere one,
Yep.
so we're looking forward to the next one already, Joe. I don't know what you have in mind, but it's going to be fantastic as always. I'm certain.
Yeah, well, let's talk about maybe a couple of ideas. I was thinking of doing, we did a tribute to French motorsport recently, with all the Renaults and Peugeots and Citroens. I was thinking of doing a similar one for Germany for, get the BMWs, Volkswagens and Porsches.
Rear-wheel drive. Oh, no.
Yeah, that sounds like real drive.
Well, some of it.
Can we just use normal cars, guys?
Yeah, let's go for the Golf 2, and front wheel drive. I don't know, Opel Adam or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Let's do that.
That would be cool.
Okay, well, we could do something like that.
Yeah, if the car's named after me, go for it.
Oh yeah, the Opel Adam. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's have a front wheel drive. We never have front wheel drive in special events. Let's have a
super slow front wheel drive.
Yeah. So, it doesn't have to be super slow, but I mean the R2 cars are fun in some locations. So, but yeah,
they are fun. I must admit.
I like them.
Yeah, and I do like the Peugeot and Golf GTI as well.
That's a great class. That's a really great class. Should have more cars in my opinion.
Yeah, I love
that. Did we ever do front wheel drive in special events? Maybe the Volkswagen.
Yeah, I mean only isolated.
It's been a long while.
I think we're okay. Good, you guys have convinced me. Then we will do that, and we'll do it soon. And yeah, okay, we'll definitely do that. So right now we don't have anything in the special events, but we will get that up and running pretty soon. Maybe over this weekend, so that we have a 10-day start or something like that. So what's next? The One Shot Weeklies has just concluded as well, right?
Yeah, correct. Indeed. So we'll get the poll set up soon and get everyone contacted again in the top 10 for now. And that's you were shining completely at the front there with your decent drives, Joe. So
yeah,
I didn't do many of them this season. So for the first time in the 3 seasons, I dropped out fairly down from the top 10. But that means there's room for new people. Joe, you should try it.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm really enjoying it. I'm unlike the dirty weeklies that I used to really, practice a lot for. I'm basically just maybe doing 10 minutes to get a tuning, and then a couple of time trials, and then off we go. So I was quite pleasantly surprised with some wins with very little practice this time. And yeah, I think I didn't even have to do this last event, but it was such a good one anyway that I wanted to do it. And I think the choice that people, the choices of stages and car combos have been excellent in these. So I'm hoping we'll have more of that. I did want to maybe propose a change that I'd love to have listener feedback on. Currently what we have is the thing runs for 12 weeks, and then the top 10 have the privilege of choosing a car class and stage combination for the next season, plus 2 we give to the community. So we make a poll to let the community decide, and we basically figure out what some kind of average of location and car class would be based on the poll results. So I was thinking, and I think Shinyo, you kind of like the idea that we make it a little bit more challenging for the people at the top who are always going to be in the podiums, because they get to choose an event which presumably they're going to be good at. So how about maybe the top 3 or top 5 people don't get a choice, and we extend it lower down the ranks for people who try to knock off the kings of the hill, so to speak?
Yeah, for me it sounds brilliant. I mean, it's already. I mean, I would say top 3, because it's nice to have a top spot on the podium at the end of the event and then not being granted to select a car combo. But like you mentioned before, maybe it's nice to just be granted the option to nominate another guy that is not in the top 10.
Yeah.
To be able to pick at least a car stage combo. And then
that's really cool.
Like I said, it's tax the rich. It's first guys. The only thing they get is the honor.
Yes.
The reward is the honor and nothing else.
Okay, guys.
I like the idea.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything to say about that? Do you guys do the one-shot weeklies, Boris and Captain Scrub?
I did one recently. Oh wait, no, that was the daily.
Oh,
No.
okay. I do get them mixed up as well, I must say, sometimes, because they're both just a single stage.
No, I was actually spending more time in VRCG, but we'll see now after the switch to DD. Maybe I'll be back in Dirt Rally.
Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see about this idea. So if anyone who's listening wants to maybe comment in the channel, the podcast channel, and give us some feedback, and we'll propose it in the One Shot Weekly channel as well. And then for the dailies, I think Void was saying that we have record participation there. Is that right?
Not sure about the participation, but I know that we have 344 members in the club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the club is growing rapidly. It's very, very cool to see.
Excellent. Yeah, that's it's a lot of fun. I just have not been participating in that because I find it stressful to have to, to feel like I have to do it every single day for a week.
Well, how I see it is like I don't put my PC on every day, but when I put it on and there is a nice combo,
yep,
it's not going to take a lot of time, and you're going to get matched against people that you kind of know from the Discord, or at least have seen the names of, and it's only one stage or it's over soon. So I think it's perfect. And if I don't like the combo, I don't do it. So
yeah, that's how I've been doing it now as well. But every now and again I go in and try to win the week, just to remind them who's won more of those
Who's
than
the
anyone.
king?
Yeah, exactly.
Remind them that they're still around. You're not doing everything already, but you're around.
Yeah.
So guys, if I try, I win.
Yeah, so no, because Toolmaker and I and now Knife Ninja, we're so closely matched. Sometimes it's hundreds or thousands separating us, and it's really fun when we have that kind of challenge. So yeah, okay. So the daily's still going strong. What about Richard Burns? Dennis, do you have anything there you might want to say, or
don't have anything particular to say there. Still
yeah, Void said something about that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he just said that they're still doing stuff, but there's nothing major.
Yeah. I mean, I think he said the 25th or 26th rally is running now.
Okay, and we have GRF people in there, but no podiums recently.
You want to put out a special thanks to, sorry if it's a shout already, but special thanks to Void for doing all this, and the daily, and this on another game, and then on some or other games as well, like Automobilista.
Automobilista,
yeah, exactly.
That's something I wanted to quickly talk about. He's also organizing the GRF Automobilista server. I mean, it's the console guy speaking now. We don't even have Automobilista. I think it's Automobilista 2. So, yeah, there, as far as I know, or as Robot said, there has been a big update, so that Automobilista 2 includes Rallycross now.
Oh,
and
fantastic!
There is a race or a server on rotation that you can join. I think it's a little bit like the rotations in Assetto Corsa Competizione for the guys who have played that game. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that's something.
If anybody is interested in having like a race a GRF organized race, just write it in the podcast channel in our Discord or in Gaming General, and I think Void will organize something.
Yeah, he's been amazing. You're very right to give him a shout out, Stein, because he's also doing a lot of the onboarding as well. So yeah, it always kind of makes me feel embarrassed by how little I contribute when I see all the things that he's doing.
But next to that, he's also competing in a lot of tournaments and doing really good at them as well. So I'm really impressed in the dedication he has for.
Yeah, really putting in some time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff.
He's in the Dirty Discord, and I think he's in the Two Idiots One Car as well. So, and that's just.
And also in the Rally Fans Discord, because I just saw him finish there. So.
Right. Very good. And then, Boris, do you have anything to say about the WRC generations?
Probably not. It's we are still competing in the season.
Champion 1.
But our climb has been slowed down, so legendary rank is still far away, I would say.
I see.
Yeah, we're in Champion 1, and I think the next one would be legendary then.
Yeah.
But with the amount of teams that are actually, the higher you get in the ranks, the more teams with more drivers you have competing. And right now, I think it's kind of difficult because there's like 6 or 7 full roster teams which compete with all of their drivers. So yeah, now you see I think it's kind of difficult to be promoted to legendary. It's not impossible, but it's difficult. This week, by the way, the weekly is Portugal.
Oh, okay.
It's a really cool location.
Cool. Well, talking about team stuff, we have a new GRF competition team member, Castor. So we just want to say hi and welcome to the team GRF, and good luck with all of that. So we've seen Castor around for some time in different clubs as well. So yeah, well deserved.
Talking about Castor, I think him and Hillerstrumpa lately have been really pushing up the timetables.
Yes.
So they really stand out now.
I love seeing that. I just love seeing people really make significant progress there. So Hillerstrumpa for sure, yeah, and Castor, it's really cool to see them, because I remember Castor being worried, I believe, about how hardcore some of the GRF events were, especially in the Special Events Club, and I think participating in those outside his comfort zone has been really good, and he's improved a lot. So very cool to see. So right, and then I think the only club that's left is Expert Historic, and we've got a new season. We've had 2 events. We're in the middle of the 3rd one, which is Portugal, aka Australia. We're doing the fateful 1986 season in Group B, all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive, and yeah, it's been really cool so far. It's been very, very good. And then Adam, this is where you, Captain Scrub, have really shone here, not just in the driving but also in these amazing write-ups that you've been doing.
Yeah, my English teacher would have been really proud.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, so if anyone hasn't seen these, Scrub's been doing these great write-ups. They're quite lengthy. They go into not the wrong term, stage by stage, but kind of loop by loop between service breaks. He's giving us updates as if they were kind of real time, and they're entertaining, informative, and a lot of fun in general. And so what gives you inspiration for the style that you use? And
I don't I don't really know. I really, I've enjoyed watching the VHS rallies on YouTube.
Yep,
I don't know if you guys have seen much of those,
I've seen a
or
few.
those
Yeah.
distant. And I
Yeah, I
just
watch
love
everyone.
yeah, they're brilliant. Just how they how they're just so enjoyable, aren't they? Watching those. Um, and I don't know. I just thought I'll just give it a go, and I quite enjoy writing them. It's a nice opportunity to sort of get my creativity sparked up a little bit and do something other than playing on, like, sort of doing my work or
Right.
playing a video game. You know, it's just something a little bit different. But it's good. Funnily enough, as it turns out, my wife's family they're in media. They run a magazine, so it's been quite nice. Sort of showing these to my father-in-law, who
Oh, cool.
he's the editor of their magazine, and just sort of he's been enjoying reading a couple of them as well, and giving me some helpful pointers in how to write an article and things like that. So that's just been a happy coincidence, really, with doing it, and it's just fun. Yeah, it's just fun. I know that when I've read other write-ups, if you get mentioned in them, it feels really good, and
Okay.
how if there's a bit of a joke or a bit of
A
bit of
dig.
something like that, it can really make an event feel a little bit more like you're included in it. So it's a little bit more difficult with doing all three tiers at the moment, with being able to include more of the field in the write-up,
Yeah.
which I do like doing. Just if there's a little battle going on somewhere a bit further down the standings, getting that involved, and you do see if someone has a standout rally from reading through the placements every week. You kind of get an idea of where people usually place. So if somebody does particularly well, you can pick up on that. And I know it just feels good if
Yeah.
when I've been included in a write-up, it felt really good. So I just try and do that for the other guys that are competing, and make the event something a little bit more interesting, you know?
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, anyone who's seen these can see that a lot of time and effort must have gone into each one. So we really, really appreciate it. I used to, and I just still do sometimes, especially if I've done well in the rally and I'm excited about it. I'll do a write up from a personal perspective of how things went, and I used to worry that it was, it just seemed like too egotistical, or making excuses when things went badly, that I would talk about them, but I would tag a lot of people that had battles with. And then sometimes I'd even go stage by stage how it was. And I'd always do it with a bit of, like, being quite self-conscious about, like, am I just, is anyone even interested in this? And is this just only for my own ego? And to my surprise, people would react very positively. And some of them were quite lengthy in that I would need to split them up into more than one Discord post because of the character limit. And when I did that, people would say, "Oh yeah, this is fun," and they really liked it. And it just blew my mind, because I assumed that people wouldn't have the attention span to read big blocks of text. But I think it's a testament to maybe the slightly older demographic that we have in rally events, as opposed to other online gaming, that people read these and they enjoy them. I enjoy your write-ups thoroughly, and it's clear that everybody else does as well, from all the upvotes and the comments and so on. And I bet there are, a whole bunch of people who make mental comments that are all positive, but just don't write them down, because so yeah, thank you so much for doing that. And
So that's fine.
yeah, cool. That's the most understated response. Yeah, that's fine.
If one thing I will say, if people have, sometimes people have a crash that you can see in the placements,
Yep.
but obviously I haven't been watching their screen to be able
Sure.
to see what that crash was. So if you have a little spill, or have something funny happen in your like Mickey Donald always posts his videos and stuff, and I love that because it gives me a bit of something to be able to write about. You know, if you have a crash or you have a funny mistake or something like that, if you put it in the expert historic chat, and then I can embellish it a little bit and you know, make it sound a little bit more exciting, but it can also still be sort of accurate to a degree as well. You know, if you have a crash, I can, like, half the time I make up what crashes people have.
Yeah.
But if I know what the actual crash was like, then I can make it a little bit more accurate, and which in turn I guess makes it a little bit a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, it's much more engaging, and I think
exactly.
Yeah, I think the bottom line here is that people feel free to share your rally experience. Like, don't be like I was, where thinking that, you know, nobody's going to be interested. I think we're all interested to find out, and you're not whining if you talk about how, you know, you got a puncture and you would have won if you hadn't got the puncture. Fine, just put it in there, and it's easy to see again, you know, if anyone is paying attention, that you are trawling through all these posts in the channel and trying to include any bits of information that you can in your write-up, which does make them more engaging, for sure.
Yeah. It does, and it makes my life easier as well, because it writes itself then. If it saves me a bit of time if I haven't got to fill space.
Yeah. Well, you know, I just want to say a few words about the whole write-up thing. You know, expert historic, the write-ups were always done by Mexico, and you know, he was the kind of de facto expert historic person. Even though he didn't start the club, he really took it to new heights and everything. But you know, he often didn't have time to do them all, and he felt really bad about it, and then thought the club was languishing, you know, to the point where I think maybe new events weren't being created because he thought that he may not have time to do the write-ups, you know, which shouldn't really stop anyone, but it just shows how important it is, because it was clear to see the level of engagement was related to the quality of the write-ups, to get people, you know, get their appetites whetted and you know, get them interested. So I did a few, but you know, they were again kind of last minute and not what I really wanted to put in, but they were just kind of matter of fact. So having you do these has been amazing, and we did want you to, you know, get something in return, and I think this sentiment was echoed in the channel, where I think maybe it was Castor, I think he said, I'm just going to quickly check to be sure, but someone said that, yeah, you really need to get, yeah, it was Cavernous and Yui who said, you know, you should get some special reward for this. And so we've been talking about this for a little while, and we'd like to make you an admin of the Expert Historic admin channel. An admin of the Expert Historic channel and club, so that the decisions that we make, you have a say in them, because you've contributed so much to the club, and so we hope you'll join us for that.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you very much. It's it's good. I don't really know what to say. It's nice.
Well, you guys heard it here first. So we have a new admin for the Expert Historic, Capn Scrub. Thank you for everything that you've been doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So does anyone have any other stuff that they want to bring up? No?
Finally, the awkward silence.
Yes.
I was waiting for it.
Well,
So organized.
that's
one thing with your podcast.
Yeah.
Do you know that Discord now has a soundboard, so that if you wanted, you could add sound effects throughout the podcast. I think they've got a clap one. Does this work?
yes.
Lord in heaven. Where is it?
Where is
You
this?
go down to where it says voice connected. There's turn on camera, share your screen, start an activity, and now there's open soundboard as well. And
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see.
I'm on the
there's 6 generic
PC.
ones.
Uh,
Oh, I see.
Okay, I'll
go.
stop. Oh shit, I have to deactivate that.
You could get
Oh, yes, I
sorry.
see it now.
there you go.
Okay.
A new
That's-
dimension to the podcast. There we go.
Okay.
I'll see how the next podcast will end.
Yeah. So,
I will know what 90% of the podcast will be. Oh, God.
If there's an awkward silence,
yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? I think to the listeners, for the next 5 minutes, this is all you're going to be hearing is like us little kids playing with these things. I haven't done one yet, and I had to sit through all of you guys doing it. So finally, feel sorry for myself. Okay, so thank you for that. Maybe I kind of feel like a pilot here sometimes because I've got so much stuff going on because of the Twitch stream live as well. I've got to keep video clips playing at the same time as well. So I'm like, always like trying to find YouTube clips and stuff to play. But yeah, okay, so if there's nothing else, maybe we could go to Boris, if you have any shout outs to people, anyone you want to acknowledge this week.
I don't know. Maybe no problem. No.
Okay. Adam, Captain Scrub, any shout outs to people?
Shout out to my wife. Putting up with me playing on my computer all the time.
Is she a regular listener to the podcast?
No, she isn't.
But she will be.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, she'll listen to this one probably.
Okay.
And who knows? She might get hooked. She might go back to episode 1 and work her way through.
Great.
Yeah. And yeah, just everyone in the clubs that we race against. We have a great community here, and it's the racing's great fun. It's and all the effort that the behind the scenes guys put in with the bots and that sort of stuff. EquiX doing was it Squeaks?
Squeaks, yep.
Doing his stuff in the Expert Historic, and Mexico putting up all of the cool videos for each season as well is rad. It just makes the hobby so much more fun, doesn't it? Having a good community along with it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, shout out to everyone.
Okay. Dennis.
Yeah, shout out to Borissito and Capn Scrub. Thanks for being here for the podcast and for being great members of the community. And shout out to Void Robot for everything he does for GRF, organizing Automobilista, RBR, participating in tons of events. Thank you.
Awesome. Stein? Shinyo?
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to do that one.
I didn't hear my name. Did anyone else hear my name? Anyway,
Okay.
I did the shout outs already, but I want to say shout out to Castor and Hillerströmpa.
Okay.
It's nice to see long-term members evolving in the way they do right now. And
Yep.
once in a while, we have a few that you can really see picking up the pace. And shout outs to Mr. Tulip, or his other name is. But why Mr. Truck?
Yes.
Anyway, I always see him close to my times, so he's a nice target for me right now. And yeah, shout out to Adam and Boris for being here, and also from my side, a big shout out to Void Robot for really everything he does.
Okay, great.
Back to you, Joe.
Then me, all right. Well, Borissito and Captain Scrub goes without saying because you're on the show, and so thank you once again. I guess we focused a little bit on the Expert Historic today. So again, Mexico and Squeaks, you guys have been awesome. Like that. Yes, very good. And to Shinyo, because you're like my personal genie. I say we should do this, and then you're the one who actually makes it happen. And you put up with
I don't
my
have a sound
whining.
for that on the soundboard. I have to import sounds. But
Oh, you can do that. Yeah, there you go. Thank
For
you.
you, for me.
Thank you so much for doing all the real work, the less fun work, at least with what would be the less fun work for me, in getting results and stuff out, and helping with decisions and making me think about these crazy ideas that I have and when they're not so good, and making me see, realizing when they're not so good and when they are good as well, and having your voice giving, your input has always been very valuable. So
no worries. I kind of like doing the results as well, because then for me I get to know people a lot better, and I can see like I said before how people evolve throughout events.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah, I get some satisfaction out of that as well. So I'll try to pick up the pace again with write-ups a bit more. Summer holidays have been pretty brutal for times management, but should be okay from now on.
Okay, great. Well,
and thank you, Joe, also for thinking of these events and organizing this and doing the podcast. So
yeah, that's all
awesome.
Fun stuff that doesn't even feel like work to me. So yeah, thank you. So I guess all that remains is for us to say goodbye, and we'll start with Boris. Do you want to say goodbye, Boris, to everyone? Are you still there?
Yeah, goodbye to everybody that was listening, and to everybody at GRF.
Okay, Adam.
Yep. Bye everyone. Bye to the podcast crew. And yeah, take care.
Okay, Dennis, Shinyo, in that order. Let's.
God. Thanks for listening, the people who are still listening, and goodbye, and hear you next time.
Goodbye, everyone, and we'll bring larger and more elaborate soundboards next time for sure.
Yes, very good.
It needs to be DJ Dennis next time.
There we go.
All those air horns.
What we'll have is one particular person assigned to doing to do that, and it's not going to be me.
That? Can I do that? I
you could be.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be me. It has to be me.
There you go. We have a decree from the emperor himself. So, all right. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you soon with another episode. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.